Hello, friends and family. I hope you are all well. I'm a little unwell, you see, but that is not the reason why you're here. You are here to learn about Mr. Collins. Of course. Mr. Collins is one of my favorite characters of all time. He is very colorful and very humorous and very absurd, and is quite delightful in a story. He is in the book Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Let us learn a little bit about the background of Mr. Collins. Jane Austen says he is not a sensible man, and he was raised by an illiterate and miserly father. He did go to university, but he had very little acquaintance that could help him socially. But it was by fortunate chance that he was recommended to Lady Catherine de Bourgh when her parsonage was vacated, and he took the place as the parson on her property at Rosings Park. His property is now called Hunsford. Now, Mr. Collins is cousin to the Bennet family. He has never met the Bennet family. Mr. Bennet's father and Mr. Collins' father were probably brothers, and apparently they didn't get along very well. In those days, women could not inherit property from their fathers. Not typically, anyway. And the Bennet family had no sons, but 5 daughters. And since Mr. Collins was the next male heir to inherit the property, he decided to write them a letter to console them and try to smooth things over about him being the inheritor of the estate. He decides he is going to go and marry one of the daughters. And in his mind, he probably thinks he's doing a really good deed. So he writes them a letter telling them he is going to come and visit. But he doesn't say that he would like to marry one of the daughters. So naturally, they are curious to see him and to meet him, and they are curious to know how he is going to make amends to the family. Mr. Collins has a very unique respect for his patroness, Lady Catherine de Bourgh. Miss Austen hilariously uses 2 words to describe him: veneration and obsequiousness. Every time I read a Jane Austen book, I must have a dictionary handy, or I am lost. So let us meet this Mr. Collins together, and let us see how he gets on. I have compiled 4 different actors playing Mr. Collins. These are my favorite scenes, or Mr. Collins' best bits.
Of the satisfaction of waiting on you and your family on Monday the 18th. Have a care, Dawkins.
Richard, can you be a sensible man, sir?
Oh, I think not, my dear. Indeed, I have great hopes of finding him quite the reverse.
To think we have to feed the man who's waiting to snatch the bread out of our mouths. Here he comes.
I have heard much, madam, of the charm and beauty of your daughters. Madam, I have heard much of the charm and beauty.
What a superbly featured room, and what excellent boiled potatoes. Many years since I've had such an exemplary vegetable.
Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
I assume you have all heard of Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
Madam, I have heard much of the charm and beauty of your daughters. But may I say that their fame falls far short of the reality.
You surprise me, sir. I had heard of Lady Catherine as a very proud and haughty woman.
Such is the vulgar opinion, sir. But I can assure you, although I act as her ladyship's librarian, she has always spoken to me as she would to any other gentleman.
I have been invited twice to dine at Rosings Park. The garden in which stands my humble abode is separated only by a lane from Rosings Park.
My small rectory abuts her estate, Rosings Park, and she often condescends to drive by my humble dwelling in her little phaeton and ponies.
You may imagine, sir, how happy I am on every occasion to offer those little delicate compliments which are always acceptable to ladies.
She advised me to marry as soon as I could, and actually promised to call upon my wife. Provided, of course, I chose with discretion.
The fairest wifely choices be right here in this room.
Unfortunately, I cannot make amends to more than one. The difficulty now is one of choice. I think perhaps Miss Jane.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Mr. Collins, but Jane is practically engaged. We are expecting a proposal any moment now.
Oh, fuddle.
But Liz is quite available, and almost as fair as Jane.
Cousin Elizabeth!
Oh. Is there some sort of trouble? Oh, it appears there is. Miss Bennet.
Thank you, Mr. Collins.
Allow me. Gallantry isn't dead. Come, come now, we mustn't be late.
On the way, Mr. Collins.
Madam, but
Come, Mr. Collins.
Self has praised me on my lightness of foot.
This is the part that I like best. This is the part where Mr. Collins proposes to Elizabeth Bennet. And my favourite scene is played by Melville Cooper. Let's see how he gets on, shall we?
I think I'll join.
One moment, please, Miss Elizabeth. Madam, may I have the permission to solicit a private interview with your daughter, Elizabeth?
Private? Well, really... yes, indeed. Lizzie will be only too happy.
Believe me, my dear Miss Elizabeth, your modesty does you no disservice in my eyes. Oh, wait, you can hardly doubt the purport of my discourse. My attentions have been too marked to be mistaken. I have singled you out as the companion of my future life. Please, before my feelings run away with me, let me state my reasons for marrying. First, I regard it as the duty of every gentleman in easy circumstances to marry. Secondly, I am convinced it will add greatly to my happiness. And thirdly, I think it only right that since I am to inherit your father's estate, I should try and keep it in the family. And fourthly, it is the particular wish of that very noble lady whom I have the honor to call my patroness, Lady Catherine de Bourgh. These, dear Miss Elizabeth, are my motives. And now, nothing remains but for me to assure you of the violence of my affection.
I appreciate the honor of your proposal.
Oh, my dear Miss Elizabeth.
But I must decline with thanks.
I understand, my dear Miss Elizabeth, that it is a delicate and charming custom of young ladies to say no when they mean yes, even to 3 and 4 refusals. I am therefore by no means discouraged by what you have said.
Upon my word, sir, you are very hard to discourage.
My dear Miss Elizabeth, I think you ought to take into consideration that in spite of your loveliness and amiable qualifications, you are practically penniless. And it is by no means certain that another offer of marriage may ever be made you.
Well, by all
So I must therefore attribute your refusal of me to your wish of increasing my love by suspense, which is, I am told, the usual practice of elegant female. Ah, thank you. You make me feel certain that when my proposal is sanctioned by the authority of your parents, you will plainly say yes.
Oh!
It's wrong. Foolish. Dear me, Lady Catherine will never approve.
One of the most extraordinary sights in all of Europe, is it not? The glazing alone costs upwards of £20,000. Come along. Come along.
Lady Catherine's famed black guard. They can't move. Yeah, look at this. You could tickle him with a feather. Oh.
Who indeed would not be sad to be deprived of Rosings, and indeed of the gracious condescension...
You will write to your mother and...
You would have been proficient at anything, Lady Catherine.
So would Anne.
That goes without saying.
Those Callenses will turn us out before he's cold in his grave. Oh, the vultures. They're here already. Oh,
Mrs. Bennet, Mrs. Bennet. Yours is a misfortune which no lapse of time can alleviate. No lapse of time, Mrs. Phillips. The death of your daughter would have been a blessing compared to this. Distressing her, I'm bringing her consolation. I shudder to think what Lady Catherine will say to all this. Come in. Thank you, Smith, thank you. Ladies.
We are very grateful, sir, for your...
In which opinion I am joined by Lady Catherine de Bourgh and her daughter, to whom I have related the affair in full. For who, as Lady Catherine herself condescendingly says, will connect themselves with such a family.
Who indeed, sir? You may feel that it would be unwise for you to stay any longer now. I always feel that a clergyman cannot be too careful, especially one so fortunate as to enjoy the condescension and the patronage of Lady Catherine de Bourgh. Visit and condole with us. Is he gone? Yes. Good. Forever with any luck.
I hope you enjoyed our compilation today as much as I did. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're going through, whatever you're facing, always remember to keep the faith and things will come out right in the end. Bye.